this is the first time you've seen it. I have to say, I usually wait to see it with you, but I saw it this weekend, so I looked at it already. But go ahead, take a look. Open this puppy up.
Sounds good. Is this recorded? Because my mom wants to see me opening it too.
Absolutely, we're recording it. We'll send it to her.
Sounds good. Wow, this is dope. This is pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you love it?
Yeah, this is just like seeing it in person makes it so much different.
I always find this moment of seeing your name down there, like there's not a lot of things that your name is on like that in that way. So yeah, what do you think? The color, the feel?
Yeah, I like the cover because that's what I wanted. Like the front cover to be a little subtle, but then the color is kind of what made it pop, a little flashy. Just because I don't know, I don't know if it resembles my style in life and stuff. I don't know if this because I'm a sneakerhead, so I usually wear like kind of more subtle like pieces on top, and then the shoes is what's like the main point.
So today we're gonna take a look at some of our favorite kicks and kind of reminisce on stories from our childhood. Because when you're a sneakerhead and you grow up, every sneaker has its own story.
And when you think about like this concept of microbusiness, you sort of start out the journey broadly thinking about kind of more entrepreneurship and stuff like that. You didn't really settle on this concept of like microbusiness until you were like partway down, like probably like close to manuscript phase even, right?
Yeah,
that sort
definitely.
of thing. How did that kind of like thing emerge to see that as an opportunity?
I think it's one of the exercises you had us. I think I said I don't know if it was favorite author or favorite books, and I was going down the list. And first favorite book, 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. He kind of talks. He doesn't say specific in microbusiness, but he talks about the concept of working around the world, online business, limited time. And then I was thinking the next book that inspired me was $100 Startup, and I was like, low startup cost, kind of microbusiness, small business. Like, let me just take these it inspired me to get the microbusiness, kind of combine both concepts of not being tied down, working around the world, and then low startup costs, and kind of bring it in the middle, and that's how we got here.
And I think the other thing that's been interesting to sort of observe about you is, you have this aspiration to be an entrepreneur one day, and we talked a lot about like there's all this sort of pressure to be like big entrepreneur, like startup guy. And you're sort of figured out a way to kind of combine this one where you now have these micro businesses you're running and you're operating and you're testing and playing with. But not, still thinking about what your career fits like in those things. How does it sort of feel like to be able to sort of not have to sell out and just do one thing and do it all? Like, do you feel like it's something that is empowering, inspiring to you?
Yeah, definitely. I just think that makes it more feasible for the everyday person that's maybe a full-time employee and they think, I have a 40-hour work week, I can't do this, or it kind of shows that no, you actually can, or if you're a full-time student, that you don't need a couple thousand of funding from a VC to start your business, and that's what I liked it the most, microbusiness in general.
Take us through a little bit of like how you decided to, so maybe start with, tell people what a microbusiness is, because people sort of, there's this, we talk a little bit about, everyone believes like, I gotta be a startup, which is like a fast-growing tech company. And microbusiness is kind of your hybrid solution, kind of a new term about sort of businesses that don't have to have that kind of growth. They don't have to have that kind of like people to pull them off. So tell us a little about what microbusinesses are.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of in between a small business and a startup. Kind of the main concept of a microbusiness I like, it's low startup costs, kind of bootstrapping. And then one of the main parts too is not being tied down specifically to a location or place, being able to run it from anywhere in the world. And I just like microbusiness because you can run multiple at a time, like I said, low startup costs, and it just kind of combines the cool aspect of like a startup, maybe kind of, it's mostly internet-based companies, so it can be that, but then it's also small that you can run with one person, maybe a team of 4 at most. So I just like that kind of flexibility most of the microbusiness.
And then take us through kind of the 4 you decided and what the kind of experience was like, literally launching 4 businesses while working on a book.
So I guess the first I'll start with my passion one is sneaker reselling business. This one I kind of started like a year or 2 ago, but it was more of a hobby, kind of a side business. And this one is just my love for shoes and sneakers. I've always had a thing, and people don't realize this, but there's a huge secondary market for sneakers. I think it's like $1 billion reselling market.
Huge.
Yeah, so that was just a fun one because I'm into it, so I'd buy shoes at low cost of like $250, and depending if it's like a Yeezy or a Jordan Retro, you could sell it up to $1,000. So
you told me you've had shoes that you sold for over $1,000.
Yeah, so the margin was great. Yeah, that's sell 1 or 2 and like that's pretty good income for a college student. So yeah, that was that one. So that one was pretty fun. Not too much work from my side, just because I know the market so well and everything.
And you sort of what you document is that basically it can be a pretty low risk proposition for people if they're able to have enough money to buy a pair to predict these things, know when they're going to come out. Like someone who's like 10, 12, 13 could even start doing some sneaker reselling. Right?
Easily, definitely. That's actually a lot of young kids are kind of getting into that because there's not much risk. Say if you buy a shoe for $200, that's retail, so the worst that you're going to do, you're just going to sell it back for retail, break even. So yeah, it's definitely low risk. And
it's cool.
I like that. Let's say that's
Sneaker business. What next?
Next, let's go with microbusinesslabs.com, a website. So this one kind of combines with the next business, which is a podcast. So these two kind of go in together. So one, Microbusiness Labs is kind of a website centered around going meta on this topic of microbusinesses.
Right.
So having articles and then the podcast and just resources that if anybody wants to start a microbusiness, they can go to that website. And the goal for the website and the podcast is kind of to monetize it and earn income or revenue through that way.
And then tell us about the podcast a little bit.
Yeah, so the podcast is called the Microbusiness Podcast. On it, I just feature entrepreneurs, and some episodes in the future is going to be me talking. And the goal is to kind of, since the website's called Microbusiness Labs, is to experiment different microbusiness in the future and kind of give my take on it. So, like, one of my main new ideas I'm going to do is testing out a AI chatbot microbusiness. So,
cool.
Kind of document through that. And
I love it. Yeah, it's been awesome to watch it. I mean, I have to say it's fun sitting here because I remember like you were just sort of lacking confidence in this ability, and like to hear you just sort of like just boom like nail kind of the way you can feel and think about these things. It's awesome to see, and I think it's a testament to like you put in the work, right? It's like you did go out there and you interviewed a lot of people, you actually launched these businesses, right? Like for real, right? That's the cool part about it, is it's not like you just pretended these things, you actually did it, and then you document it and share it. That's pretty amazing. So who do you think is going to love reading a book like this?
I definitely think students and recent grads and just full-time employees, I think that they'll kind of hopefully be inspired. That's my main goal, to start and go out and do everything, because I think with a lot of people that's entrepreneurial mindset, they kind of have an idea but then put it to the side, be like, oh, that's not feasible, can't do it. But I want people to have those small ideas or big ideas and put it into action, execute on them. That'd be my main goal for the people reading this book.
It's amazing. Well, it's been awesome to see. And do you feel like you've actually started 5 micro-businesses? Because actually this is a micro-business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think this is definitely a micro-business. I didn't think so a couple weeks ago, but now I'm like, this book actually is a micro-business, the whole process. So yeah, definitely.
It's awesome.